Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another edition of Raider Sports. So today is the day we have been waiting for. It is kickoff. It is week 0. The NCAA football season is finally upon us. But big news has been released from the Atlantic supposedly that the Big 12 is looking at BYU. And this is the absolutely perfect candidate for the Big 12. I said if it wasn't for their religious affiliations, they'd already be in the Pac 12. But since their religious affiliations and their Sundays have been a problem, and their LGBT and their political stuff has been a problem, it bit them in the butt in 2016, and this time it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case, and I'm going to make the case for BYU right now. They are an absolutely fantastic historical school. They have the 1984 National Championship. They have a great dedicated fan base. They have NFL players, NFL legends and icons such as Steve Young, Jim McMahon, Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. Zach Wilson was just drafted as number 2 overall. They were 11-1 last year. And the greatest thing that you can really get out of BYU is their football numbers. Their television numbers are astronomical in comparison to anybody else you can really add. I mean, BYU already beats out the remaining 8 Big 12 schools on cable by almost 200,000 views. It is something, and that is value. When people say, "Oh, there's no team who really moves the needle, there's no team that adds value," this does. BYU is that team, and they have that culture that is ingrained in BYU due to the religious affiliation that they have with the Mormon Church. They're like a Notre Dame light. Notre Dame is big for Catholics. BYU obviously is big for Mormons, and in 2016, when the Big 12 was looking at expansion, they even came out and said the one team all the media rights people said would bring value to the Big 12 when it came to contracts and stuff was going to be BYU. And their numbers make it out. I mean, BYU and Coastal Carolina last year. Coastal Carolina, they weren't playing Texas. They weren't playing Texas A&M. They weren't playing Oklahoma. They weren't playing some other school who could carry the numbers with them. No, they were playing Coastal Carolina, and it became the 5th most watched event on ESPNU ever. This is value. This is what you need if you're the Big 12. You need BYU. And in 2016, last time it was Texas and Oklahoma who did not want to expand. Well, guess what? Now that they have ceded all of their influence pretty much by saying that they're leaving, now you don't have that problem. So now you got the perfect school with a big television market, or at least a big television fan base, who outdoes all your other schools, who give you another late night game, and they're watchable. They're viewable. People will watch BYU. I will watch BYU play TCU. I will watch BYU play Oklahoma State. And I will watch BYU play even Iowa State or Kansas State. Those would be great games to watch, and I would be really psyched for it. And so the only caveat, well, there's 2 really. One is BYU doesn't play on Sundays, which makes it hard for like track and field, Olympic sports, baseball, basketball in some sense. But BYU, just like Liberty, does have a rule with the NCAA that if they make the tournament, they get the Thursday, Saturday game, so they don't really have to deal with the NCAA tournament games being on Friday and Sundays. They just schedule around that. I don't know how baseball and track and other things BYU has, But in football, it's not a problem. And the second one is really the one that put a lot of pressure on the Big 12 not to allow BYU in, and that is probably the only possible way I can even see them remotely getting left out is the LGBTQ community. They don't exactly have a good track record with them, but things are different now from what I hear over at BYU concerning that. I don't know, but that's kind of, oh, we're becoming more inclusive, I guess, and things like that. So, maybe it won't be that big of an issue this time. A lot of those original Big 12 board members are gone. Texas and Oklahoma are gone. So that's not really much of a problem there. And so really the only thing is how fast do you want BYU? And they should be welcomed with open arms. So that way when the next contract is up, they could say, hey, we got BYU. We just talked about Central Florida in the last video. Central Florida and BYU. Those would be two great schools. The obvious other two, if you would go for, in my opinion, would be Boise State and Cincinnati, unless there's something we don't know about why Boise State is always left out of these conversations when it comes down to the nitty gritty. I don't know if there's maybe something behind the scenes that keeps Boise State out. But then if one of those two teams wouldn't happen to work, I'd go with South Florida just for the South Florida, Central Florida. Maybe they'd become a, package deal. Okay, guys. Well, let me know what you think. BYU, Central Florida. Would you watch that game if it was a Big 12 game? Let me know down in the comments. Smash that like button. It helps me out a lot. And I'll see you guys next time, all right? That's about all.